I am resident of Collinwood for YouTube, Joel Saints, joined by my buddy Mark Gillman. We're here to discuss the Halloween teaser trailer and the Halloween theatrical trailer. Halloween Ends, that is, I should say the full name, because I don't want to confuse anybody, let alone myself. Um, so, what did you think of the teaser, buddy?
I love the teaser. Um, I actually preferred the teaser to the theatrical, um, and I usually do most of the time because it leaves you guessing, and there's just a lot more mystery to it. Um, but I like that. We got to see some good shots of Michael stalking, and Laurie was right there, and it mostly had a showdown between Laurie and Michael, where the theatrical kind of spread it out a little bit and it showed um a whole lot more people versus Michael.
Yeah, it seems like again trailers are tricky
Hmm.
because they showed something in the theatrical and the teaser that I was curious about too.
Hmm.
And I can't wait to see the movie to see how this. There's a kid on the fence. It looks like a car is coming near him. So I'm starting to
Hmm.
think that Michael's going to drive a car, which would be
Hmm.
nice. We haven't seen
Hmm.
Michael do that in this series yet. In this,
So since five, yeah.
yeah, since five, since he tried to play, run down the pedestrians. Uh,
Hmm.
see what it
Best scene in five.
Yeah, yeah. What it is you get 20 points per pedestrian in Halloween. Uh,
Exactly.
so every time I see Michael hit somebody with a car in ends, if this happens, I'll be like, "That's 20 there. Go for that
Yep.
right over there. That
Yep.
in the cross,
GTA Haddonfield.
right in the crosswalk. Just run him down." Uh, but like why not? So, do you think that the I'm with you though. The teaser, I prefer it too, because less is more. Like,
Hmm.
I'm not saying the theatrical is bad. The
Hmm.
theatrical definitely showed more. So, what did you think of the theatrical?
The theatrical gave me some thoughts, and by the way, I listened to your thoughts on how you think that Halloween Ends is going to go, which is a very, very well thought out, possibility. I could definitely see, that having some merit to it. Um, it kind of made me think, like we saw a whole lot of Lori, but it was kind of confined in
Right.
the house. We never really saw Lori outside of there, so it kind of makes me wonder. Um, if they're going to do kind of like Resurrection did and have the showdown between Laurie and Michael at the beginning and then maybe go kind of spread out from there. Michael will go in hiding, and that's where we saw him, like in the sewer or whatever that was. Um, kind of like Halloween 5 where he was, living in that tunnel with the hermit guy. So it just kind of makes me wonder if they're going to get this Michael versus Laurie out of the way in the beginning, and then he's going to go into hiding, and then everybody's going to be looking for him.
I'm sort of to touch upon what you just said. That's really good. I love that.
Hmm.
I sort of think they might, because I don't think I'm going to be right. By the way, um, I sort of wonder, like you said, they'll show if they show Michael and Laurie at the beginning, and they show Laurie reaching for the mask, and then they cut it to how this got to that point. Like start it from the actual beginning of the movie to show you how they got where they are. Now they might not. We don't know. Again, we're just giving our opinions, but we won't know till the 14th. I'm gonna beg my wife to pick up the Peacock option. But, uh,
Oh, kind of problem. Something you're in and out badly.
what's that? I'm sorry.
Okay, I can hear you a little bit better now. You were going in and out badly.
That's sorry about that. Um,
Oh, that's okay.
that's just Skype taking a dump.
No, I just want to make sure I hear what you're saying.
Well, what I was saying was I think that Laurie, it might start off like you're saying, Laurie and Michael, but I'm sort of wondering if Laurie reaches for the mask, they might cut it to the very beginning and show it like how it got to this point,
Oh,
and then
that's true.
go for the rest of the movie. Now, I I want to believe that's the showdown. I
Mm,
do. I'm not so sold. Here's another thing I'm not so sold on either.
mhm,
I don't think Corey Cunningham is a copycat killer.
mhm,
I'm not sold. I think there might be one in this, but it
mhm,
might not necessarily be him.
mhm,
Now, it could be. I could be wrong. I probably am. I wonder it, or he might wait to become that. But I'm sort of one because he keeps saying about he sort of sounds like Loomis a bit, like he's warning them,
yeah.
or then he says, "Oh, you started this." I don't know who he's saying that to. He could be saying that to Michael because
Yeah.
Michael did start all this really,
Mhm,
but I sort of wonder if his encounter down in the sewer with Michael is going to cause him to sort of become like Loomis.
mhm,
Because in all fairness, we have not had a Loomis character. And really, I know we've had Loomis in the flashback, but we
mhm.
haven't had a Loomis analogy in this movie.
Right.
Like we haven't had that. And the one thing I think Danny McBride and David Gordon Green don't get enough credit for is they keep finding ways to put things in, whether
Mhm,
it's Easter eggs, whether it's this or that. That's something I will give them credit for, and they
mhm,
deserve it.
mhm,
But they have not added sort not. I'm not saying Loomis, but Loomis dialect, like
mhm,
someone dissecting Michael's, what how Michael might think or move, or what he's
mhm.
capable of. Now, people are saying Laurie's done that. Yeah, but Laurie's been wrong too.
Yeah.
So,
Yes, she has.
so that's I said that to somebody today. I said, "You gotta watch that. Laurie keeps telling people Michael's after her, and guess what? Not in this trilogy." Is
No, he's not. No, he's not.
I said, "You gotta."
No, he's not.
I love Jamie Lee Curtis too, but you gotta watch it. They're deceiving you with that.
Mhm.
It's basically like a trick play in football.
They're red herrings. Yep.
That's right. They're just making you look this way, and then they're gonna
Mhm,
sucker you. Um,
mhm.
what do you think of Corey Cunningham so far? I know we haven't seen him.
Um, I don't really know very much about him, to be honest with you. This is the first time that I know of that I've seen him.
Yeah, I right. We didn't really see him in the teaser too much, but we've more seen him in
Mhm,
the theatrical trailer,
mhm.
and
Right.
he's the one who's down in this like the sewer or the cave, whatever,
Right.
and he sees Michael. Again, we don't know what's going to go on. We don't know what exactly is going to transpire down there, or how he gets away from Michael. But he's obviously now. There's a side note to this that I'm sort of wondering: could does he get away from him? Does Michael kill him and just Corey's ghost following Michael along?
Mhm.
Not now. Again, that's a stretch, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's kinda like what Rob Zombie did in Halloween 2,
Yeah,
where he
yeah,
had the ghost of his mother.
yeah. But instead of this
Sort
person like talking to Michael, this person is like trying to warn his victims. Like,
Mhm.
he's coming. He like because I could see a vengeful spirit. Like I'm going all dark shadows on Halloween. Uh, I could
Do it.
I could see a spirit sort of trying to warn the victims, but them
Mhm.
not be able to hear it because he's a ghost.
Mhm.
Now I don't think that'll happen, but it would be fun to see.
Mhm.
You know,
Oh, I agree. That would be something, where they were saying that they were wanting to get, I guess, a little more grounded, and with this new trilogy, to bring something supernatural like that into it would be, kind of an unexpected thing.
it would be.
And, um, I think one thing that's unique about David Gordon Green, he's like an art house filmmaker.
Yeah.
Danny McBride is more like a grindhouse, irreverent kind of person, and he brings a lot of that with it. And I think it's interesting the two of them working together on this project. I mean, they're very, very different people, but I think what they both bring to it is kind of cool. And it's you can see a little bit of both of them in this, and I'm excited to see how they end this.
I think the one thing I've been impressed with so far
Hmm.
is how they write their kills. They do a good job.
Yeah.
They're very
Hmm.
creative, and that's
Yeah.
very hard to do in a slasher. Like, because
Hmm.
now with Nightmare on Elm Street, it's really easy. It's a dream. You can do whatever the hell you want.
Exactly.
But with someone like Michael, they keep finding new ways to use, like to have him kill somebody. And I
Hmm.
think that's something they've done really well in this trilogy in 2018, and especially in kills. I love
Hmm.
the light through the neck. That's
Yes.
uh, I,
That kills had some had some brutality I've not seen in any slasher before.
I love how Michael is. I told you this before. I love how Michael's taking the knives and stabbing the guy. He's basically being Martha, like the Home Shopping Network. And this knife is sharp. And this knife is sharp. It's
Yeah, it never dulls.
it's, it's like it, it's an interesting scene because again he just keeps doing it,
Mhm.
but he pecks the one knife and he leaves. I think it's so hard because I've written some Halloween stories, and it's like Michael killing to me is like simplistic. Like he's gonna kill you with a knife or with his hands, or he's
Mhm.
gonna find something to kill you with.
Mhm.
And I think that's something they've done really, really well. Okay,
Mhm.
yes, he uses a knife, but he also uses other things. So
Mhm.
the knife is his main weapon. I think again they've done a really good job with their kills being creative. Again, am I a fan of off-screen kills? No, but
No.
again, you know, I can
Mhm.
I can be because my least favorite off-screen kill in this whole trilogy so far has been the one what's his name? I think David is his name or something. The one girl's boyfriend who gets stabbed. It's sort of the Bob kill where he's hanging.
Mhm.
I sort of wish we would have saw that
Yeah.
because I can kind of guess what happened is when he went up, as he was going upstairs, Michael was coming down and grabbed him and just hoisted him up. And like, I can figure that out. But
Yeah.
to visually see that, and because I don't know if that was maybe too difficult to shoot or just too difficult to show, because again, coming downstairs can be dangerous. You don't want someone to fall
Mhm.
and get really.
Right.
But if they could have shown that, I would have loved to have seen that, where he just
Yeah.
takes him, grabs him, walks down the steps with him, puts him up against the wall, and bam. That would have been to me better than the 78 one where he just pops out of
Mhm.
the closet.
Yeah.
Because that's brute strength. Like to grab a
Mhm.
kid, you're on the steps. Like you're on, let's say you're on the third step. You're picking someone up who's flat, all but flat footed, on steps, or even coming up them, lift them up, carry them down, pin them against the wall, and stab them is brutal.
Yeah.
Like, I figure that's what happened. Now, I don't know if that all happened. Maybe he was down the steps by that time. I don't know. I just think I like the kill, but I don't love that it was off screen.
Right, right. It's just like my favorite off-screen kill was in 2018, and it was the cop um, when they come by the cop car, he's got a flashlight shoved in, and he looks like a jack-o'-lantern.
Yeah.
Yeah, his eyes are gone. I mean, you don't see it happen, but you see the aftermath, and you're like, oh wow, So,
You want to know what I
but I understand. I get frustrated with off-screen kills too.
You want to know what I think happened? I think
Hmm.
Michael started walking not on the road but through the woods, and they
Hmm.
heard like something snap, and he shined the light. He got out of the car, and as he got
Hmm.
out, still shining the light, Michael come up, took the flashlight, boom,
Yeah.
you know, or he was
Hmm.
sitting there, and either way, again,
Hmm.
I can imagine it, but I'm with you. I want to see
Hmm.
certain, and there's going to be ones in this one where there's going to be that one kill that you want to see that they don't show you. It's like, son of a bitch. What the hell?
And that might be the MPAA too. So yeah, they're bad to. I know they cut Nightmare on Elm Street 5 to death um, at the time, and really slashed it down to get the R rating.
Yeah, no one likes them.
No, not us horror fans anyway.
Give us your address. We want to send you Christmas cards.
Yes.
Like complaint cards. Like, dear
Hmm.
person, do not mess with this movie.
Hmm.
Thank you. And that's the nicest thing
Right.
you'll get from somebody.
Hmm.
Because I won't. Here's the when I write somebody a letter, I'm not going to put an explicit in it, but I know people who will. Uh,
Or a return address. Yeah,
right?
we'll leave that part out.
Yeah. Don't write the return address. Like, yeah, I got
Right.
this. Some. See, here's the thing. Some nutcase would just take that too far. But
Hmm.
there,
True.
I do think there's times though, because when you have an R rating, I sort of got on this about the extended cut of kills. There was
Hmm.
nothing too bad that they couldn't have put in that movie
Hmm.
because they already had an R rating, and I think my now for all the most to me, Sartain's. I think a lot of the reason they don't show your scene, the cop scene,
Hmm.
it's right after Sartain's death,
Yeah.
and Sartain got his head smashed in.
Hmm.
Now, I really did not give a shit about Sartain at that point. So they could have just
Right.
cut him away and then did
Hmm.
the flashlight scene. But I that's probably why yours got cut. Because
Hmm.
it's like it's okay, we just had this gruesome kill. He
Hmm.
stepped his head in. It caved in. They showed it. So they
Hmm.
can't show the flashlight going out the throat, which is like
Right. It would be too much that close together.
right. I'm sort of wondering if that's why that got cut.
Hmm. That's true. I never thought about that.
I kept thinking, I'm thinking, wait, when is that? Oh yeah, because I thought about Sartain. I'm thinking, yeah, Sartain just dies right before that. I'm thinking, and
Hmm.
he gets his head crushed. But
Uh-huh.
so I'm sort of that wondering. That's probably why. I do
Hmm.
now. I have 2018. I'm gonna look at the deleted scenes and
Hmm.
see if maybe that is in there, like the flashlight kill. If it's not, I'll let you know. But
Okay.
because that would be cool to have it as a deleted scene at least.
Hmm.
Like
Yeah.
it's not too deleted. It's just something they couldn't put in the movie.
Hmm.
the actual kill. But that would be nice to have as a deleted scene at least. That
Yeah,
it's,
I agree.
you
That
know,
was pretty creative.
it was. And that's the
Hmm.
thing. I could see like how they did it. Like, okay, how would you write it? Okay, I would just write it as he stepped out the car, shining a light, and Michael grabbed him and boop, and he fell
Yep,
back
up
down.
it goes.
Yeah.
Hmm.
What what to you did you notice between the teaser and the theatrical?
What what was it that I noticed between them?
Yeah, what oh sorry, what did you notice in the supposed to in the or sorry. Uh I'm a crazy host. Um
It's okay. I love it. That's why I keep coming back.
yeah, all right, right. That's what my wife says too. In the teaser, what's the one thing you take away from it and the theatrical?
um, from the teaser,
Yes.
um, I think that this is going to be the last for Laurie.
Yeah.
I'm thinking this is going to be it for Laurie. That the character, I don't think there are going to be any more H2Os or 2018s to revive the character again. I think this is it. Um, for the theatrical trailer, um, there was I took it that that it is about Michael and Laurie, but there's a lot more to it
Yeah.
because it showed Michael out and about and not confined in the house,
Right.
like Laurie was. And one thing I noticed because I watched these trailers right before I came on was when there was a scene in the theatrical trailer when Laurie was um, she was playing the knife and she was holding it in her hand and it showed her grab the mask and pull it off Michael, and then she said, "You came here to kill me, why don't you?" And when he sits up, the mask is back on. So I'm just kind of wondering, he didn't grab it, didn't show him grabbing it out of her hand and putting it back on. It was already back on.
Yeah.
So um there was that was kind of a quick cut. I mean, it may not mean anything, but
Right.
it was just something I noticed that was kind of odd. But I think that my prediction, I think that Michael is going to survive this.
Really?
Because I just keep going back to that base rule in the beginning. You can't kill the boogeyman.
You're going way back to the original.
Yeah.
That
Yep.
they're gonna keep that myth going.
Hmm. Yeah. I
That's a
think Laurie's going to die, but for some reason, I think that Michael, some way, somehow, will carry on.
that is the boldest pick I've heard out of anyone. That
Hmm.
is because I'll say this. I do think this is the last time we. I know a lot of people say, "Well, Jamie Lee Curtis will just be back in another Halloween." I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I
Not this late in the game. It's been over 40 years.
Yeah, I think whatever they're going to do, honestly, this is her closure.
Yeah.
But I'll say this: she, for her, and again, I'm gonna point out something you just point out too. I think when she takes the mask off now, because they do a weird cut in the trailer when she does that and says that we don't see her saying it, we just hear it. I think, if I'm not
Hmm.
mistaken. I sort of wonder. I bet that's I'm sort of wondered if that's for one of the copycats.
Hmm.
Like if it's I don't think this is the only fight. I think Laurie's going to be in multiple fights, not just Michael.
Hmm.
That once I think the line we hear is going to be for the copycat. Came here to kill me. Why don't you do it?
Uh-huh.
Or maybe it's for Corey. That could be another thing too.
Hmm.
I don't. Maybe she, because again, you've faced a killer. You should know what one looks like now. And that's
Yeah.
sort of, it goes back to sort of something in Kills that Mary Winnington said. Sam Loomis knew what a killer looked like. And I'm sort of
Hmm.
wondering if they're going to pay that forward. It ends with not with Corey, but with Laurie. Where God, that rhymes. But it, that if she recognizes what a killer looks like, not somebody who just wears a mask, because
Hmm.
I think that's something too that Laurie says something to Sartain. She says, "You're the new Loomis."
Yeah.
And what she's really just saying is, you're obsessed with Michael.
Hmm.
But she did not pick up on him being this heel.
Hmm.
So now in ends, does she pick up on somebody who's villainous but not wearing a mask? I'm sort of wondering if we're going to see something where she recognizes evil, because that's something. I'll go back to six. When Terrence Wins tells Loomis, "You recognized it. Its
Hmm.
power. What you recognized when you saw it." Loomis says Michael. Wynn says evil,
Yeah.
because Loomis recognized evil. He knew what it looked like. He knew what it was. So does Laurie fully know what it looks like and knows what it is? Not just a guy in a mask, not just some killer with a mask and a knife, but somebody who's sitting right in front of her talking to her,
Yeah.
like a Corey Cunningham. If he's evil, again, I don't know if he is or isn't. I know that I have not watched any spoiler people talk.
Same. Yeah,
I
because I have no idea who he is or what he is in the movie.
right. Uh, I know. Well, somebody said he has a connection to Allison, and that's when I heard that I shut it off. So I don't know if he does or doesn't. That could be
Hmm.
right or wrong. If it is, I apologize.
Oh no, it's so good.
Because I'm that's the it's like it's when I hear Halloween, I see Halloween, and it says plus spoilers. I'm like, okay, I'm avoiding that video.
Yes.
But it's like I'll click on it to get the like, so the person gets the like. But after that, it's like, okay, I'm out of here.
Yep.
Like, I'm sorry, I
I'll
didn't.
catch you later after I see it.
Right. I'll come back to you. Uh, and that's the thing too. Like, I want to see that from Laurie, that she knows what a killer looks like, not just Michael, but somebody who's
Right.
not wearing it. Like, if she takes that mask off and it's not Michael, that's going to be interesting to
Yeah.
see how that, because if you're not Michael, that means you can talk, and you should, because you're
Mhm.
not the actual killer, you're just a copy.
Yeah.
Now, again, it'll be interesting to see how they play out the copycats, if they're there, and how many of them are there. Because I don't, if there is, I don't think there's just one.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah.
what do you think of Allison so far in this trilogy?
I really like Allison a lot, and I think um, I'm really thinking that she's going to get used a lot more heavy
In this one?
because, in 2018 and Halloween Kills, both movies happened in one day, but the bulk of the story happened within like what, probably 4 or 5 hours, maybe
Yeah.
tops. So, now with Karen, her mother being killed, I mean, she lost her dad, her stepdad, whatever he was, and now she lost her mom.
Yeah.
So, um, in a way, Allison has lost more than Laurie has.
Yeah.
Laurie lost three friends, but Allison lost both parents and her boyfriend. And I mean, oh gosh, when Cameron got killed, that was probably the most brutal. and savage kill of the whole, you know, of the two that we've seen so far, when Michael shoved his head down the broken banister and he was just laying there like gasping for air, and then he grabs his neck and snaps his neck. And you know, she's lost everything. She's lost more than Laurie has at this point. So I'm hoping that, um, you know, I think Allison is going to be angry in this. I think she's going to be very bitter, and I'm hoping to get to see Allison unhinged a bit.
Yeah, I do think there needs to be a moment where between her and Laurie Strode where it's she to me, and I hope they do this. If Laurie's the one who suggests, "Hey, let's move on after kills," I need Allison to call that bullshit
Yeah.
because it is.
Hmm.
There, you know, now let's say both characters have tried to move on, or Allison did try to move on in this movie, but she's thought about what's happened. How much has she thought about, and what I'm sort of wondering what is her relationship with Laurie 4 years later? Like,
Yeah.
are they still close, or are they like have they drifted apart, or have they
Right.
come closer because of what happened to, like you said, like Allison losing all that? Did it make her grow closer to her? Because she lost a lot of people too.
Right. She lost her friends, her boyfriend, her parents. So Laurie is all she has, or all that either one of them has left.
I'm sort of wondering if that's probably why Laurie chose to move on is because of Allison.
Mhm.
Because you know what? Allison's lost all this too. She's lost more than me. I should try to move on so this girl can have a normal life. If she can see me living normally, maybe she'll live normal. I'm sort of wondering if that's the case.
Mhm. And maybe Laurie even feels responsible for it because it kind of is her fault a little bit,
Right,
maybe in her mind.
right. I mean, serial killer stalks you 40 years ago. It's a lot to let go. Um,
Yeah.
but you're right. I do think that I agree with you. That is something that probably weighs on her mind. Is maybe she's even asked it. That's something I'm sort of wondering too, because this is a 4 year time jump. Are they going to have her where explain? I sat and wondered for 4 years. Was any of this my fault? Was what happened with Allison my fault? With you know, I'm sort of wondering if we're going to hear that. You know,
Mhm. I'm hoping this is going to be a very psychology heavy film.
yeah, me too. I think there will be a lot of psychology to it. I'm sort of again. I think that's what Corey Cunningham is there to add, really.
Mhm.
But again, if Michael because some people say Sartain was a copycat, which I don't think he was. I think he wanted to know what it felt like to kill somebody. Him putting on the mask was more, I don't know, whatever. But to me, if somebody's donning the outfit, to me, it's not just donning the outfit. It's okay. I want if there's more than one copycat, I want to see where a copycat went to the extreme to literally blow off two fingers, cut
Yeah,
themselves. Like they literally think they're Michael, but they're not.
right.
Like,
And I looked for that, and you could see like there was a shot of Laurie stabbing Michael's hand in the theatrical trailer, and you could see those fingers missing.
right, and that's
Mhm.
the thing too. Like, see that changed too. There was one cut in the teaser where I'm sort of wondering if they just changed it where there was one shot where was he had all his fingers, and then there's another one where he didn't. So I'm sort of wondering if they changed that now, but and they probably did. So do you? Where do you think they go after this?
The series,
Yeah.
um, I'm guessing one of two things.
Okay.
I think this is going to be either the last that we're going to get of Halloween for a long time,
Yeah.
or they're going to go into some kind of mini series on, uh, like some kind of streaming service, whether it's HBO Max or something. Um, I could see it going, either one of those ways and expanding on it, but um, I think it's going to be a while before we get another film. How about you?
I hope that, again, I hope whatever they do is a conclusion to this whole trilogy, like the whole thing.
Yeah.
And I'm again, I've given my prediction. I know you've given yours. I hope they take Halloween and hire writers to write a full blown television series.
Hmm.
And don't just show Haddonfield during the fall, show it during the summer and have it transition from summer to fall. Show the young people around town how some of them feel about Michael Myers. Do all of them think about him? No. Do some of the older people who live there do? Yes. And they keep telling the young
Hmm.
people, yeah, he's good. Some of them do, some of them don't. Some who live there go, hey, he's going to come back one day. No one's seen him in a real long time.
Hmm.
And they just say, and the young people, a lot of them are just, whatever,
Hmm.
whatever, old man. Because to really, the only way you can really appreciate Michael Myers is to experience him.
Yeah.
And I think now, the first year, I would have the kids be right. Oh, told you so. Because if you have him show up the first year, everyone's going to expect that.
Hmm.
The next year, come back around, then he shows up in Haddonfield. And your first season, it does show Michael, but he's not killing in Haddonfield. He's not just killing on Halloween. He's killing
Hmm.
on certain days, stalking people. It takes him so many days to stalk people, then he kills them. Whoever he stalks, he kills.
Hmm.
And so he's been slowly going around the United States, killing here, there, and all that every year. You see one common pattern. It's all leading back to his hometown. And finally, he goes back, and a lot of the kids who doubted him, some of them do get killed, but a couple of them survive. And the, the terror of that, build the terror back up. Tell a story of different characters, meeting Michael and getting killed, have very few survivors, and yes, show the kills. I think that's the get a writer clever enough to write kills where the MP, the MP, whatever their initials are,
Yeah.
to just get lost. But
Yeah.
like do what John Carpenter did. The less blood, they can't bitch about it. Yeah, there's lots
Right.
of blood, but don't show a ton of it. You don't have to show
Hmm.
blood to know someone's dead. A lifeless body
Right.
does the trick. Do that in your television series and build the psychology of him coming back. But he's out there though. That's the danger. He's out there. He is out there hurting other people, and the police, the FBI on their end doesn't know what to do because Michael Myers has been declared legally dead since '02. And here's the one thing I would have. The one thing they debate is, well, wait, could this be a copycat? Maybe it's somebody put, because again, the one point that would get made is they're not killing on Halloween, and they're not attacking their family members. So is this Michael? And that's why they're not issuing, opening the full file of Myers yet. They're not sure. Explore many, sort of like Psycho, have many different characters. This
Yeah.
isn't just one person's story. It's a lot of people's story.
Hmm.
It's not just the town of Haddonfield story. There's a lot of people's. This is everybody's story until that person dies.
Right. Right.
That's
But
something.
I like this idea, man.
That's something I'd love to see. No, will they do that? I don't know.
What would you feel if they announced if they were going to do a Halloween TV series after this film? How would you feel if they said that they were going to go back to what John and Deborah originally planned and do an anthology series where it would be different every year?
Do that, and I think you'll have a lot of success because the difference is you can actually have a television series and plan it about different people
Hmm.
and have different stories going on in different times. Oh, these events are happening on Halloween, but they're not the same event. It's not being
Hmm.
closed by the same thing.
Hmm.
And so it's different, whether it's something supernatural or accidental, even, God forbid, because
Hmm.
shit happens on Halloween.
Yeah. Yes, it does.
But well, shit happens every day. But
Yeah.
again, you pick a day and you could say, well, this happened. For example, you could tell a story about a couple on a boat, and instead of getting attacked by a shark, their just boat starts to sink for some reason, and they're not
Mhm.
sure why. And here, one of one of their passengers got drunk and fucking shot a hole in the fucking boat,
Mhm.
and they're in shark infested waters. What do they do?
Mhm.
There's that.
Yeah.
But again, I wouldn't mind it because again, we're fans of Season of the Witch,
Mhm.
so I wouldn't mind them doing that.
Mhm.
Again, though, just be smart about it.
Maybe every October drop a new season.
Well, that right. I think that's the thing too. Like, no matter what they do, if they do an anthology, make sure you're making this very clear. This isn't just about Michael.
Mhm.
This isn't about Michael. If Butch Rosenbaum gave a great perspective. Don't call it Halloween 3 Season of the Witch. Just call it Season of the Witch. Which I get that because I think that's the thing. It, you know, I said once. I said, you know what? Season of the Witch. It happened on Halloween.
Mm.
Do that. That's the thing. Like, if you're going to do something on Halloween and you're going to do that anthology, make sure people know, hey, this is not going to be about Michael Myers. But
Yeah.
that's the thing too. Season of the Witch does do that. You know,
Mhm.
they make it. I've pointed this out a lot that I love the fact that they showed John Carpenter's Halloween in the course of this movie.
Mhm.
They're letting you know, hey, Michael Myers is fake in this reality. He's a fictional
Yeah.
character, so his ass isn't showing up here,
Mhm.
and it's beautifully done.
Mhm.
You know that I'm for it. So
Yeah. Same. Same. I mean, I would want them to not be like they were trying to copycat American Horror Story because I mean that idea was originally in the Halloween series, to do an anthology uh, centered around the theme of Halloween every year. But yeah, I would love to see. I mean, I would love to see yours. I would love to see things about Michael continue and expand the lore of Michael Myers. But I would also be okay with an anthology where we get a new set of characters, a new story every October.
I would too. I would watch it.
Same.
What did you think of the Monsters movie?
I'm in the minority that I loved it. Um, I thought it was really good, and for it was like to me it was kind of like the Adams Family movies in the '90s. They did their own thing,
Yeah,
and I think to have I watched a lot of the extras on my Blu-ray, and to have a $5 million budget and do what they did, I thought they did fantastic.
I like one of my favorite scenes is when Herman Monster walks in on the guy who creates him. He's got leprosy on his face. He's like, "You look different. Did you get a haircut?"
Yeah.
So, it's
Yeah, that's great. That
oh
was
my
so great.
freaking grandpa too. He's.
Mhm.
I was not expecting Rob Zombie to play Grandpa Monster's the one who's trying to break him up.
Yeah. Mhm. Yeah, I remember in the show they talked about like Herman talked about how when he and Lily first met that Grandpa always tried to like find ways to get rid of Herman. And I like that this movie takes place in Transylvania and their grandpa is royalty there. He's the count.
Right.
And so everything is a lot different than what we're used to. And at the end, they go to California in at Mockingbird Lane, and it left me wanting a sequel. I was wanting the series to continue.
I hope it does. I hope he comes
Me
back.
too.
This was funny. I think I was
Mhm.
telling Patrick this. I think at times this movie's meant for a studio audience because
Yeah.
it's more meant to. I think it's not a bad film. It's really and smart and funny, and
Mhm.
the jokes. Like I get the jokes because I know who Sonny and Cher were. I like how they're singing.
Yeah.
I'll be, like, I'm like the guy. I was like because that sort of hints to you what's like Sonny and Cher got divorced.
Yeah. Exactly.
You get the joke, like,
Mhm.
and I don't think that's a joke in the movie, but it's funny to me to watch that song be sung. I got you, babe.
Mhm. Yep. Yeah. It's a lot of dad jokes and puns like gothic, horror puns and stuff, but the show was a lot too, and I think that they stuck the landing, and I thought they did really, really well, and the sets were gorgeous. Now the trailer, I was kind of iffy on the trailer because the trailer made the movie look like it was shot on an iPhone, but when you watch the actual movie, it looks like a normal movie.
Yeah, I think what it was too. They were trying. I give Rob a lot of credit for the film. He was trying not to show too much, and I think that's why it looks
Hmm.
that way too. Is because
Hmm.
yeah, Halloween has done a better job with as their trailers have gone along in this trilogy not to show too much.
Hmm.
But they need to take lessons from Rob Zombie in his trailers because he doesn't show you a ton of shit, which is great.
No, he doesn't.
Like that's what I want. Like don't
Hmm.
show me. Uh, that's another thing too. With his Halloweens, when he did his trailers, he didn't show you a ton of stuff.
Nope,
So you had to go see
he
the
didn't.
movie, and
Hmm.
that's what any filmmaker should do. Like
Hmm.
it's not your job as a filmmaker or a writer even to show the audience the movie in like a 15-second clip.
Hmm.
And Hollywood needs to take notes on that shit.
Yeah, especially Warner Brothers. They're notorious for showing spoilers in almost all their trailers.
And that's why a lot of their movies aren't doing well too.
Yeah, exactly.
You're seeing a lot of that movie in that trailer, and it's like
Mhm.
you're leaving nothing to the imagination.
Exactly. You
And
can piece together the whole movie. So
right,
why go
that's
pay 15, $20 to go see it?
that's why Batman didn't do the numbers it should have did. New
Hmm.
Batman, it was good, but you
Hmm.
showed too much.
Yeah.
Like that too, and now the two animated movies were already out by
Hmm.
the time this movie came out, but they should have realized with that guy's script that, hey, he's basically making sort of those movies but into a live action, and they
Hmm.
should have not showed those two cartoons on HBO Max. They should have said, nope, we can't do it. No,
Yeah.
because if you watch the Long Halloween Part One and Two, then you watch the Hush movie. Well, both of those movies are basically the new Batman movie in a weird way. Now,
Hmm.
Poison Ivy's not in it, but she's in the cartoon, but she's not in the live action.
Right.
But and Catwoman knows that Batman is Bruce Wayne,
Hmm.
and so with this, they don't do that. And I love how they have Catwoman drive away. They're not having Catwoman stay. They're having her go her own way, which is good. She's not
Hmm.
Catwoman, she's becoming Catwoman.
Right.
So they replace one origin story with another, which is good.
Hmm.
But the fact that you didn't do what you wanted to on this movie, you didn't get the numbers you wanted, is because you showed too much of this movie in your theatrical trailer.
Yeah.
I've said this: if you superhero movies are taking a dive because of two reasons. One, the trailers are too long; they're
Yeah.
showing too much. Two, the Rock's movie Black Adam will probably not do well because of what they're showing already.
Yeah.
And two, you're writing a superhero movie for God's sake. You still have to tell a story. You
Yeah.
know, that's another. Again, there are movies. To me, one of the most underrated movies, superhero movies. Both are from the '90s. One's The Phantom with Billy Zane, which is
Hmm.
really good, and the '94 Shadow.
Hmm.
But if they did the Shadow now, okay, you have to now suggest, is Lamont Cranston the Shadow or isn't he? Have the more do the pulp than the
Hmm.
radio. You can have a bit of both, but rarely show the shadow, and rarely if basically if there's somebody in a room with a bunch of cops, they don't know who that person if that person's the shadow or not. Neither do you.
Hmm.
Person talking to someone else, is that person the shadow? We don't know. He's a
Right.
master of disguise. He could be the person's, you know, next to you,
Hmm.
and you wouldn't know. So that's something they need to do there. And with trailers in general, they just need Warner Brothers just needs to shorten their trailers.
Yeah.
That's another thing. It again, it doesn't matter. Like when they do the next Batman movie, it doesn't matter how good of a job Robert Pattinson does. If you're showing half his movie in your trailer,
Hmm.
then people are gonna be like, well, you know what? I saw a lot of that in the trailer, so
Yeah. You're
why?
bringing out all the key moments of the movie and just playing them right in order, and people are not stupid. They can piece together the movie and how it's going to go.
Whatever they decide to do in this next movie, here would be my suggestion: show the water of Gotham, because Gotham's almost all but half of it's underwater. Like a lot of the water because of what happened at the end, what the Riddler did. Change your plans. Don't have the Joker.
Hmm.
Instead, have have another have another character have two other characters appear. One, Ra's al Ghul, and Ra's al Ghul is a billionaire, and he's building
Hmm.
back the city too with Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
But what he doesn't know is what Bruce Wayne doesn't realize is Ra's al Ghul has somebody who's helping him develop the dirt and the foundation and the plants, and that's poison ivy.
Hmm.
And Pamela is running is psychotic. She doesn't care for people. She only gives a shit about plants. And
Hmm.
what Ra's doesn't realize is, yeah, there's all this plant life, and he's helped certain aspects of a lot of his money has gone in. But what Ra's doesn't realize is Pamela betrayed his ass.
Hmm.
She's now running the show. She's now running his organization, and she kills him. Have Rachel Gould be a victim instead of a heel,
Yeah.
and then
I like that.
like have her be a Black Widow. Like have her like her. She's able to kill people with a kiss. Have him kill her. Have her kill him. And
Hmm.
yes, cast Andy Matichek as Pamela Isley.
That would be great.
Have her
I
play
didn't
a
think of
heel.
that.
Have her play a heel. She'd be damn good at it.
Yes, she would.
We need Poison Ivy is pure sex appeal with, and let me tell you, that woman could pull that off. But
Hmm.
that's the thing too.
Yeah.
They to go the Joker again when you've already had destruction in your first movie too, because the
Yeah.
Joker's pure chaos as well.
Hmm.
And Riddler, I don't want to say he was becoming Riddler. He wasn't. He already was.
Yeah.
But a lot of this too was Zodiac like too.
Mhm.
So they were having a bit of both. I I just hope they do a lot of smart things for the second one, and the next again. I watched Batman on DVD. I bought the Blu-ray. I took a chance
Hmm.
after watching it the first time. I said I'm going to buy this because I watched it on HBO Max, and then I dropped HBO Max. I said, okay, after this, we're dropping this. I said because I said the fact that this movie came to stream already is sad. I said people aren't going to see it enough, and I said it's because of that fucking trailer.
Yeah.
God, could you imagine that though? Like making a movie, and they show half your movie in a trailer.
I'd be livid. I would be absolutely livid. I mean, to work for, months and months and months, probably over a year on a movie that long and that big, and then, have some, I guess whoever the editor is that cuts the trailer to spoil the whole movie after working on it so hard. No, I would be absolutely beside myself.
That's what I don't understand. Like Warner knows what they're putting into these movies. They know what they've invested.
Hmm.
And again, they should have left well enough alone with the Matrix.
Hmm.
They 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 have no clue. In a lot of ways, I'm glad Darkseid got away from Warner Brothers. I am,
Yeah.
because so far, what the hell have they done anyway? I,
Yeah.
they Batman is their biggest draw, and
Hmm.
this Batman movie, didn't do what they were expecting. I guarantee you, they will not learn their lesson either. They'll repeat this, and the trailer you see, it'll show half that movie,
Hmm.
and it's like,
And going back like 6 years, that's what I thought when I saw Batman v Superman. The whole movie was, you could see it in 2 minutes
yeah,
rather than sit for, almost 3 hours, and you could see it and piece it together. I mean, it showed you everything.
if they really wanted to do Batman versus Superman correctly, really correctly, all you needed to do was take take what Batman said in the trailer and play nothing else. That's it.
Yeah.
Don't show anything, just have words. And
Hmm.
then show Ben Affleck's face. And that's it. Then
Yep.
I'll come see your movie.
Exactly.
Because you're forcing people to do what? Decide whether to go see it or not. Well, they've only showed me this. I need to go. That's what I mean. They're not leaving intrigue.
Hmm.
Like, when we were growing up, you saw a trailer, you saw very little.
Hmm.
Like, I remember the Phantoms trailer. It was just the Phantom coming down on a wire. That was it.
Yeah.
That was their trailer, their teaser. That was it. That I'm going to go see that.
Yeah.
The one thing I Mission Impossible, they showed the explosion.
Hmm.
I'm there.
Yeah. I remember that too.
It's like they don't leave enough to that imagination to get you to come,
Right.
and
Hmm.
that's why people are going to go less and less to the theater. And
Hmm.
if they think that's going to get people to subscribe to their I'm convinced this is the goal now. Just make the
Hmm.
movie and we'll just put it on stream. But here's the thing.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. People will buy a DVD just like they bought VHS. And if they don't remember this, go ask the movie FX. That movie did not do well in theaters, but it became a rental success, and then people
Hmm.
started watching. Oh, that's a good movie, and it is.
Hmm.
But it didn't make the money it made at the box office, but it made money on VHS sales,
Hmm.
and it got a sequel.
Yeah. Yeah.
Again, that'll be your movies if you continue to do what you're doing. People will just buy the DVD.
Hmm.
They will rather buy a DVD than buy your streaming service because they're not just going to buy your streaming service for one movie or even two.
Right.
Because you
Right.
can just take, I've talked about this. Streaming, it's not just, but Tubi has Dark Shadows. Okay? I don't
Hmm.
need Tubi to watch Dark Shadows, but it's there.
Hmm.
Okay, Paramount has Strange New Worlds. Well, if Paramount cancels Strange New Worlds, I'm out of here, Jack. Uh,
Right. Right.
you know, but that's the thing. You can't be prisoner to a stream. So
Hmm.
if they think that if they think, well, we can just put a movie on and keep them hostage, one movie. No, you have to have other things. Like
Hmm.
I watch movies on Paramount, but I'm mainly there for your shows
Yeah.
that aren't
And
on.
the thing about the streaming services is they can change, like, for instance, Vudu. I have a lot of my digital copies in Vudu, and they can change the contents that's available. Like, we have a copy of Spider-Man 3, and they took out part of the movie and changed some of the, like, the special features that came with it. And it's just like, oh, well, too bad, so sad. This is the copy you get now. You don't get the full movie. We took out some of it because, people complained about Spider-Man 3. So this is, the digital copy you own now. You don't get any say in it, but I have it on Blu-ray. I have what I want.
That's interesting. That's the thing too. Peacock has done that with WWF's old
Hmm.
old Raw shows because of how because of what they showed and what they said and what they did on there. And it's like, okay, why do you think we watched it?
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was edgy. So, I remember, you know, it's funny. I know a guy who literally recorded every episode of Raw back then. That's like that guy's
Mm-hmm.
probably laughing his ass off at everybody now because it's like, hey, you guys said it wasn't gonna. There was no point to record it. You were wrong.
That's right.
And guess what? Yes, we were. Yes, I
Mm-hmm.
was.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's the thing. You should not. There should be a rule. You cannot edit something that that is part of the original content.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that they're getting away with this is criminal
Yeah.
to me. I know that's, but yeah, I do have a question for you about Halloween. What if they decide to do Michael Myers again? If they do continue this, like you're saying, do you think James Jude Courtney will come back? And if he doesn't, who would you replace him with?
Let's see. James Jude Courtney, I think, is in his 60s, so I don't know that he would come back or not. Um, hmm. I'm not really sure because hmm, I'm trying to think of somebody that's like about 6'3", 6'4", like Michael is. Um, I'm not sure. Who do you think?
For 60, oh god, because it's hard, right? Um, if I couldn't get a 60-year-old, I would try to get close, like at least
Hmm.
55, depending on how somebody ages, could look close enough.
Hmm.
Um, God, I don't know, honestly. I don't have an answer who I would get,
Hmm.
but
Hmm.
I just think if they do continue this, if they decide to continue this, they need to pull James Shoot Courtney aside and just sign him for life until
Hmm.
they get someone
Hmm.
else. That's how I answer that.
Hmm.
Like,
Because he's great.
get
He's great.
get it in blood if you have to. Get the right in blood if you have
Yep.
to. God. Oh my God. I'll tell you who. Now, if the television series were to happen, if they
Hmm.
say if someone said to me, "Who would you cast as Michael Myers?" Well, I am going to cast what's his name? I'm gonna kick myself. Hayden Christensen, because when you watch Revenge of the Sith and you watch the way he walks, it reminds me of Michael Myers.
Hmm.
That's all I.
And if you've seen the Obi-Wan Kenobi series, you see a lot more of that anger and forceful walk that he does. That's an excellent choice.
You know what I'm mad about that series is
What?
the the fact that the stormtroopers didn't get enough time to shoot people because they were. Yeah, it was good. See. I've been
Yeah.
having fun with that one. I'm like, I try to get people like, do you like the Obi-Wan? I'm like, I get all serious. I'm like, no, and they're like, oh, why? And I'm like, no, dude. Like, yes, I liked it. It was good. My only thing is, I guarantee you, this is what led to Vader's downfall, really,
Mhm.
because he became so obsessed with continuing to search for Kenobi, that he lost
Mhm.
focus.
Mhm.
and that's
He
why,
was very obsessive. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, and I sort of wonder because we don't see a lot of the the people he was sending after the Jedi. I sort of wonder if he was killing them off every time they failed. Just, you know what? You can't find him. You're dead.
Yeah.
And then he just ran out of them.
I can see that happening.
Like you've been promoted to a job that if your job is well paid, but if you don't find Kenobi, it's death. And it's like, yeah, yeah, uh, I quit.
Exactly. I think, yeah, if I worked for the Empire, I would do like menial work because I would not want a promotion because that's just like guaranteed death by Darth Vader. So I would just like do the minimum job I could just to stay the same.
uh, I would do the garbage chute mechanic. Like, listen, hey, you're up for promotion. Screw you. Take your
Yep,
promotion.
exactly.
Like
Exactly.
someone comes,
Finn knew what he was doing when he was sanitation and stayed as sanitation.
it's like, it's like,
Yep.
it's like they probably offered that guy a promotion. He probably knew somebody that got a promotion and got killed. And he was like, nah, nah,
Nah. Nope.
right here. I know how that
Yep.
goes.
Yep. I'll just hang on to my broom and my mop. Thank you very much.
We want to make you a lieutenant. Just stop right there. Just stop
Yep.
right there. And that's
Exactly.
that's the thing too. It's like in Star Wars, it's like the high if you're high up, you're done.
Yeah.
Like
Yep.
that hole they're digging over there, that one's for you, bro.
Yeah. It's like you were talking about before we started recording the Buccaneers and or yeah, and their coaches. Yeah, there's no room for mistakes. No mercy.
Yeah, they employ the Cobra Kai method for sure. Uh,
Exactly. Exactly.
like you're done. Like you're done. Like
Mhm.
that's the thing. I like their coach too. I like Tampa Bay's coach, their replacement coach who they got, because he was their
Mhm.
D coordinator. But it's like the fact that he has Tom Brady, and if they somehow miss the playoffs, I guarantee he's going to be gone.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I hope
Bye
not.
bye, Florida.
I don't want him to be, but hey, they like firing coaches. But
Mhm. Yeah, true.
I remember when they fired Tony Dungy. I'm like, wait, he almost made the playoffs. What?
Mhm. Almost. That's the key word.
I'm like, wait, he was one game out. What?
Mhm.
What? Like that's like there were coaches who were there long who were at their jobs longer than he was, who had missed the playoffs by like 6 games, and those motherfuckers kept their jobs. And it's like,
Mhm.
wait a second.
Yep. Yeah, there's no we'll get them next year in Florida.
See, that's Pennsylvania's mentality. Pittsburgh's mentality. We'll get them next year. They don't fire.
Mhm.
They rarely fire coaches in Steeler country. They rarely do. I give them credit.
Mhm.
There's been 3 head coaches for the Pittsburgh Steelers: Knoll, Cowher, and Tomlin, and that's it so far. Like they don't do the coaching carousel here. Um, but I think though too, with Tomlin, he chose to do something I wouldn't have did. He listened to the fans. I would
Mhm.
not have put Kenny Pickett in that game. He did good. He did good.
Mhm.
Threw 3 picks. He did run for 2 touchdowns. But you should not have put him in the second half, considering he took no snaps in practice. That offense.
Mhm.
That I don't think it'll get him fired, but it's going to raise some eyebrows for sure. If
Yeah.
especially if they miss the playoffs, he's going to get questioned for that one. If
Mhm.
they, in the AFC, it's tough too. Like the AFC is full of tough teams. I don't expect the Steelers to win their division. I think either Cleveland or Baltimore will. Everyone says Cincinnati, and I like Cincinnati's a good team, but Jacoby Brissett is a hell of a quarterback for the Browns, and people are just discounting him. But I honestly think that if the Steelers miss the playoffs, they're going to start raising eyebrows at Tomlin, because the one thing they're going to bring up is, hey, Tomlin, he said he wasn't going to listen to the fans, and they were chanting Kenny Pickett. Well, guess what? He put in Kenny Pickett.
Mm-hmm.
That's not good. That's not good.
No.
Now, they lost that game, too. That's the thing. If they had
Mm-hmm.
won that game and not lost, that'd be one thing. But if they miss, my guess is they're going to start Kenny Pickett next week. His actual
Mm-hmm.
first real start. Okay, that's against Buffalo. It's in the lead in their division in the AFC, and they're not easy. And you're
Right.
to Buffalo to do that. Have fun with that.
Oh my.
Have fun with
Yeah,
that.
exactly. Exactly.
I pointed this out. I said, Kenny Pickett and Mitch Trubisky isn't their problem. You have two glaring problems. One, your offensive line sucks. They can't protect. They can't protect shit, and I mean that literally. And two, your offensive coordinator is an idiot. But other than that, hey, good luck with that. I really think if they put Pickett in against Buffalo, I don't see them doing a good job. Not because Kenny's a bad quarterback, just because Buffalo, again,
They're pretty solid.
yeah, they learned one thing too when they played against Lamar. I said, okay, keep him in the pot. Do not let him run. And he went up on him because they did let him run, but they learned real fast. I can't let him do that.
Yeah.
You let him take off, he's gone. There's no one on that field that's catching that guy. He's fast.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But it sort of reminds me of Michael Vick back in the day. Vick took off and you missed. Bye. Bye. But really good. I do think that, though, I hope Tomlin doesn't lose his job, because I just think they need a new offensive coordinator and they need to toy with that offensive line severely. But him putting Pickett in is it's gonna raise eyebrows.
It's a gamble. We'll see how it pans out.
I will say this though too: if they make the playoffs, or if they're just one game out, they'll be fine.
Yeah.
But if he's more than one, and that's the thing, I think they're 1-3 now, or 1-4. I forget which. You better start turning it around.
Yep.
Oh my god! And that's the thing too. Like, can you imagine, like, if the Empire tells somebody, "Hey, you better turn it around"? That's not a friendly warning.
Right. There is no such thing.
This ain't like working for the Jedi Council. Hey, yeah, you need to get better. Sure. The Empire.
Yep.
The Empire. It's like, do better, or else.
Yeah. We'll double our efforts. Yeah.
Like I was telling you, I really think Barnabas just took a time machine, went to the future, and looked at the stormtroopers like, listen, this is how you shoot a gun. Bam, bam,
Yeah.
bam. Okay.
Right through her heart.
That's what it is. That during the clones' creation, they showed them Dark Shadows. They showed them Barnabas shoot Angelique. That's what they did.
There you go.
That's what they did. That's how you shoot a gun, guys. Right there, how that guy did it. And that's what. Yes.
That's true. That's very true.
God. Oh God. I'm going to hell. Oh my. what do I gotta ask you is, what do you think? Do you think that, or sorry, do you think the current Halloween trilogy has matched Rob Zombie's Halloween and violence?
Um, I think so because one thing that I have a problem with Rob Zombie, and you said it earlier, is that less can be more.
Yep.
And I think with Rob, I think one of his greatest strengths is one of his greatest weaknesses, and that it's, he writes his own things, he writes them the way he wants it to be, but at the same time, when you're making something like Halloween, you need to have somebody writing with you and checking, and he goes overboard, and it's like, okay, when Michael killed, the prison guard, I think it was Danny Trejo's character, I mean, we get it. You don't have to slam his head, you know, on a table and stuff and keep pushing his head in the fish tank 5 or 6 times. We get it.
Mm,
It's at a certain point, enough is enough. And I think Rob just doesn't know limits and when to quit sometimes.
right.
So I think as far as violence, I think it's better done in this new trilogy because it's spaced out and it's more effective. Um, just like um, okay, I'll bring up a Dark Shadows reference. All the time in 1795, um, when Barnabas has been changed into a vampire, they have not said the word vampire yet.
Right.
He just says, "I am this creature," and they never say the word vampire. He says, I am something that, everyone loathes or whatever. And then when he's having that moment with Joshua and he finally confesses to him and he says, "Because I am a vampire." And it's just like it means something when he says that word.
Yeah.
There's power in it. And I think that's what this trilogy does better. The moments are more spaced out and they have more effect. But with Rob, it's just like he doesn't know when to stop and pull back.
Yeah. And that's the thing too. Like with the monsters, like the comedy was good. Like you
Hmm.
want more. You want comedy. That that was good. I think with
Hmm.
a slasher is it's sort of like the flashlight thing you and I were talking about. If they had showed him, maybe like you said, it maybe have been too much. But I think if there was like, here's a better one: the kills when he's stabbing the guy.
Hmm.
He does it just enough, but not too much.
Hmm.
And it's not being done for the audience. It's being
Hmm.
done because he realizes that woman can see what he's doing.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
and he just boom, boom. And when he stops, it's like, my God.
Hmm.
It's like you said, it's not done too much. It's done just right. And I do think
Hmm.
that's the thing. Are there moments where, and I'm not saying merciful kills, but because there are things such as mercy killings, but
Hmm.
you need to know when to pull back,
Hmm.
and that's the thing too. They they they've done a good job pulling just back, so it's not too much. Now, I will say that again. I don't. Now, my personal opinion, I don't think the flashlight thing would have been too much, but I'm
Hmm.
I'm not those initial guys.
Right. Right. And well, like you said, we just saw Sartain get killed brutally
Right.
right before, so it may have been too much at one time. I
Right.
didn't think about that until you said it.
It's weird though too because I think they could have pulled that off had they. if they would have had him stalking Allison, and then you would have saw Ray, like Ray would have died a more meaningful death, saving her.
Mhm.
That would have been better. Like instead of having the cops
Mhm.
up there, have the cops
Mhm.
come down the driveway that they investigate, and they see
Mhm.
Ray's body, and that's where the flashlight thing could have happened. You know,
Mhm.
again, I'm not trying to nitpick, but it may. I again, I'm more proponent for seeing a kill. Yes, there's plenty.
Oh yeah,
Like
absolutely.
I get what happened to Nurse Alves in Halloween too, but god damn it, I still want to see
Yes. Mhm.
it. Like, Jesus,
Yep.
you know,
Mhm.
but it does leave. It, what those scenes really do is they let your imagination wander, and that's a
Mhm.
good thing because it's fun to discuss it.
Mhm.
You know,
And
it's
same thing with Dr. Mixter and Halloween 2. Yeah.
the
Mhm.
needle to the eye. Ah,
Yep. And he must have grabbed him out of the shower because the shower was still running.
I think honestly, you know
Mhm.
how some people like start a shower
And let
and
it warm up.
let it warm up, like back
Mhm.
then. I think that's what he was doing. And as he went to sit down and turn, boom, right, like
Yeah.
right in the eye, and
Mhm.
he just turned him around.
Mhm.
And then that girl come in and he got her in the back and the head. And it's like,
Mhm.
oh my god.
Mhm. And I love those fades like they did in the first Halloween and that part in Halloween 2 where it's pitch black and then you see half of Michael's mask fade in and the light hits it and that's great. Such good stuff.
I like how in the first one when he's standing outside, he's watching Annie.
Mhm.
You see her on the phone to Paul, John Carpenter.
Mhm.
Michael's in the background. I like,
Mhm.
John must not be too busy.
Right. True.
Like, I've said this. If they do a series, they need to get John Carpenter to play Paul.
Yeah, I agree.
That's
Mhm.
another thing they could do with the cameos. Have John play Paul in this third one.
Mhm.
That would be something. But I
That
don't think
would.
he personally wants to be on camera, which I would understand. But
Mhm.
I mean, this is probably going to be the last time he does a Halloween.
Yeah.
Like if I could get down on my knee, grovel at John Carpenter's leg, I wouldn't. Like, listen, please get in front of the
Mhm.
camera,
Just
please.
this one last go, man.
Right?
Just
What
for
the
us.
like? Like you said, I wouldn't mind like it being him, Nick Castle, Dick Warlock, sitting at a table, like something like that. Like
Mhm.
it would
Yeah.
it would be nice to see. I don't think we'll
Mhm.
get it, but
Mhm. It would be cool.
it would be. And really, if they work now, I'd even wouldn't mind it as a deleted scene.
Mhm.
Why not?
Yeah, exactly.
You know. But is there anything you want to add before we go?
No, man, I'm excited to see this. We've got 10 days to wait. So I'm really excited.
I know it's like it's not long, right? 10 days.
Mhm.
It'll be here before you know it.
Mhm. I can't wait.
Don't go anywhere. I got to talk to you when we get done there.
Okay.
But for Mark Gillman, I'm resident of Colorado. We hope you enjoyed the Halloween talk and the football
Mhm.
talk because we're crazy here. But, but thank you guys so much, and Mark, thanks, man.
Mhm. Absolutely. Good night.
Good night.